Good morning and happy Friday. This is Kurt Van Onen, your host of the Mañana No Mas morning check-in. And today is not smooth jazz and it's not classic rock. Today is a flamenco kind of day. Oh, let's hit that. And so today is a flamenco kind of day. And got up early, helped some customers in South Africa, India, the UK. Trying to remember where else today. Lots of folks that whole portion of the globe. So I got up super early. They were still awake, and so I jumped on and I helped some folks there. Also took some time out today and built a job listing page in the Mañana No Mas Academy, as well as the Power Sport Academy. So this came about because when I work with people in power sports, they're always on the search for service writers, technicians, even parts people, salespeople. It is, there's a deficit of people that will jump into that industry. Now, some of that is because, the industry has some catching up to do on wages and things like that, right? But it's a great stair step position to get people into, and then of course work on that business to help develop that business enough to be able to financially support its employees properly. But that's a whole different discussion. Here's the deal. I've got dealers in my network that could use a little help. I'm not a recruiter, but I don't mind putting up the position because, it shows the interactivity between the possibility of, student and having someone to train, right? So they hire the employees. I train the employees. If I help them find employees, I got more people to train. So it works out, to kind of be a win-win situation. So I put up job listing pages in both the Mañana No Mas property and in the Power Sport Academy property. So we got that nailed down. And then strangely enough, I have a meeting in about 15 minutes with somebody that wants to sell me, I'm pretty sure sell me on the idea of having a TV show. And it would be a TV show based on leadership and training and fitness to physical fitness, like I do with Mañana No Mas, but also encapsulating some of what we do with the power sports, marine, and bicycle companies that we've offered to help as well. So that'll be pretty interesting. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere, but you know what? I'm open to having the conversations and open to seeing which way it'll go. I can remember when I was younger, I always wanted to be, one of those speed vision dudes at the races, calling the race or doing like a two-wheel Tuesday kind of a show or something like that. And so, when someone says, oh, hey, do you want to be on a show? It's super flattering. But knowing today's market and knowing how funding happens, I'm sure I can have any show I want as long as I have the money to pay for it, right? So it'll be interesting to see what's proposed at this new meeting. What's one thing else I wanted to talk about? Oh, as the weekend comes, you'll see I'll be posting a lot of bicycle stuff, right? Because we're in the middle of the Great Cycle Challenge. Big thanks to Tess. Tess made a donation to our cause yesterday. And so I'm working real hard to raise awareness for this thing. It's about kids with cancer and raising awareness and bicycling the miles to bring that awareness to kids with cancer. And as I say that, one of the guys I rode with yesterday had the strangest thing I've ever seen. 50 plus years I've been on this planet. He would ride his bike. His wheel, I rode with him last week, and a couple of his spokes were loose, and we knew it because it was making noise. And so I looked at it and said, wow, it really is loose. Why don't you drop it off at my house? I got the tool, and I'll just go ahead and tighten up those spokes and true the wheel for you. So I did that. I tightened up the spokes, I trued the wheel, spun it, made sure that it spun, true, spun free. That's what that means, right? It's without a wobble. And so I trued the wheel and adjusted the seat, cleaned the frame, did a, drivetrain service on it, and took it back to him, right? Like no big deal. I mean, it's a pretty new bike. It doesn't have a lot of miles on it. He's had it for a couple of years, but not a lot of use, right? So then we went for a ride yesterday, and I'm all proud, right? Because I gave this guy a bike in great condition. So I thought. He hit like the first bump into our ride, and I heard a noise come from the front of his bike. I'm like, that's weird. And as we got about 10 miles into the ride, his whole wheel was wobbling, and all of the spokes around the wheel had backed themselves off. So we didn't have tools with us. We spun everything down by hand. Things, it was quiet, and it seemed firm again. I said, well, let's give it a shot, see what happens. It wasn't 200 yards, and the wheel had loosened up again. So we did this 2 or 3 times, and I've seen spokes become loose, but I've never seen a whole wheel just spin the nipples right out like that. And so, I told him, I said, dude, this ain't safe. So I pedaled back, which was fun because I PR'd the whole rest of the ride. I PR'd the ride all the way back to my house, grabbed my truck, went back and got my buddy. And I got the bike here, and I went over it with this. And as I spun the nipples in by hand, got the wheel fairly set, and then broke the wheel like into quadrants, right? Kind of like if you're putting a wheel on a car, use a star pattern with the lugs to make sure you don't put too much pressure on. So anyway, I, like that, I broke the wheel into quadrants. And so I tightened this one, then tighten this one, then tighten this one, then tighten this one. And I worked my way around. I made sure I got them really, really, really snug. And I was amazed at how loose that whole wheel had become so quickly. By then it was all wobbly, right? So then I had to re-true the wheel and basically make things tighter, to different spokes tighter to align the wheel properly. And it's good, but I'm going to go ahead and probably throw 4 or 5 miles on it, today, just to make sure that it stays where it needs to stay. I'd never seen that, never seen a wheel just spin itself apart like that. So I'll take the tool with me on my ride, and we'll see if this thing will hold up. I'd really like my buddy to have a safe, reliable machine to ride. I just thought that was bizarre. But so my message there, I told you that whole story. What's the message? The message is check your equipment, right? I'm going to probably have, by the end of Monday, I'll probably have about 175 or 200 miles ridden for the month so far. And, just think about that, right? If I do 200 miles on a bicycle in a week, how important is it that, mechanically the bike is sound and that it's safe and that it does what you expect it to do? I'm real big on the maintenance. I try to keep it clean. I try to keep things adjusted, keep things lubricated. And I've been really, really lucky so far. So my message today is, as the COVID crisis wears on all of us, and as we are looking for more and more opportunities to get out, exercise, find some kind of activity, make sure that the equipment that you get, especially with the stores running out of equipment, make sure if you're recycling equipment that you give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Just go through the equipment, check it out, be safe. Love you guys. I hate to see anything happen to you in that regard. So lots of things moving forward, right? We have the new Power Sport Academy that launched. I've been telling you guys that for weeks, but now we've got a job listings page embedded in there as well. We've got the jobs listings page in the Mañana No Mas site. We've still got our friend Andrew down in Australia doing the Heart of Presenting Facebook challenge. So I encourage you, go to the Heart of Presenting in Facebook, check out Andrew. He's fantastic. If you're interested in, upping your presentation game, your speaking game, he's a great guy to plug into. He's really good at, owning the space between the words and being your authentic self and things like that. But he says it and coaches it in a way that really resonates with folks. And so I would refer you to Andrew for the Heart of Presenting in that regard. He's doing great. And then I've got kind of a surprise I'm working on here for one of my friends I met in Pasadena at the beginning of the year. So we'll see how that goes, see if she likes that or not. But that's that. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. And, it's my anniversary this weekend. So I've got dogs to play with, a bike to ride, and I've got a motorcycle trip I'd like to do with my lovely bride if she's up for it. So you guys have a good one. Love y'all. Peace out. Mañana no mas. Let's get her done yesterday. Bye-bye.